I'm still here, like Joaquin Phoenix. I'm still here. I wish I could just shave. It really is uncomfortable not being allowed to shave, but I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to control my life. I'm not allowed to control what I eat, what I breathe, where I live, um, if I shave or not, how I bathe myself. What else am I not allowed to control? My medical care, whether or not I even have access to that. So that's how kind of like how someone in prison is treated. They're not allowed to control anything in prison, and this is just a little step above that. So my narcissist family refuses to listen to me and refuses to let me. I'm not allowed to control anything. And it's an abuse tactic because they get a sexual thrill in their mind. It's like a little dopamine rush. Ooh, he doesn't get to control his food. Nope, I control your food. I control your food. And they've been doing that to me since I was a little boy. My abusive, hateful family. So I'm disabled. I'm completely relying on my family. I don't get any kind of government benefits or anything. This isn't a welfare state. This is Oklahoma. Oklahoma's not a welfare state. I think they're confusing Oklahoma with like one of those Nordic countries. Those are welfare states. But I don't want to be on welfare. I don't want to be disabled, and I don't need to be. Clearly see a path to total able-bodiedness. To complete and total. In fact, I have plans to become an athlete. Not just hopes and dreams, but actual concrete like plans. How like step by step. How do I get to a life where I can be an athlete? Because I want to be an athlete. Now, people hear that they think like an NBA star or something. I'm talking about. I just mean it's a fit, healthy body that's able to do athletic things. That's what I mean by athlete. And everybody should want to be an athlete or be an athlete, unless you have some, reason you can't be, because that's just part of being. Our ancestors were all athletes. We come from that's, just being able to like go sprint, a few blocks on a moment's notice. Just being able to use your body to its fullest potential. That's called being an athlete. But I'm not allowed to control my body, control my food. My family made me obese. I chose to be healthy, and then there was a debate over how I cook my food at home, and then there was a debate over whether I'm allowed to exercise. Keep in mind, like obviously, if someone's supporting you, they get to have some say. I guess they get to have some say in how you live because they have to pay for it. But I mean, like, why would they want me to be disabled? Because that makes me more dependent on them. So they actually want me totally dependent on them. Narcissists enjoy having other people be dependent on them. It's that's why they enjoy having pets, because the animals are dependent on them. Growing up, we had pet cows briefly. The kids were starving, but they had money to buy pet cows. So that tells me there's some strange priorities there, and it all makes sense now. Mental illness. So I'm dependent on mentally ill people, and I want nothing more than like the thing I want more than anything, more than being healthy, and just to never need anything from these toxic savages I come from. Not to need a damn thing from them ever again. That would be the greatest joy of my life. If I just didn't need a damn thing from them, and I could just like get away from them and never talk to them ever again. They filed a false restraining order on me, one of them, because that was the nastiest thing they could do in that moment. It's always escalating the nastiness, escalating the abuse as the years go by, and I'm just trying to get a college education out of these people so I can work in my field. Not even a expensive, just a community college education. They won't even provide that for the kids. Imagine refusing to provide a community college education for your disabled son, physically disabled. So not mentally, physically. But that's astonishing. That's the kind of people. So I want nothing more than to be out of this godforsaken place, Oklahoma. What a horrible place. But they took my teeth. I told them I needed chelation. They told me no. I was like, okay, I'm going to lose my teeth then. All right. So it's an abusive letter from my toxic, abusive family. Let's read it here. God, it's 6 in the morning. I'm having a heart attack. I'm trapped in this hotel room. I can't even change rooms. They never let me get the luggage to change rooms, which I find astonishing. Like, I don't know how to pack my stuff up without luggage. So I moved in this hotel room, discovered my luggage was moldy so I threw it out, and then I was just expecting to just order a replacement and be mobile again. So I don't know if they think I'm going to move out of here without It's crazy being trapped in a hotel room and not being able to pack your stuff up and change hotel rooms or move. That's crazy. But this is the situation. This is a metaphor for my entire life, trapped in one horrible survival situation after another, disabled by poverty, crippled by poverty. I had to drop out of 7th grade for these people because they wouldn't buy me fucking shoes and pants and a shirt. I remember one birthday, I got a t-shirt for my birthday. I mean, and it didn't even fit. It was a size too small. So that's the level of abuse. It's just like, what the fuck? These aren't parents. And so, and the abuse is escalating now. Like, I've been telling them for 10 weeks, I got to get moved in the hotel room. And they're like, $200 a month. I can't live on $200 a month, dude. That's insane. I need you to get me access to the bank's money. You kept me broke my entire life. Give me access to the bank's money and let me buy all the equipment and stuff. It's like starting a business, starting a career as a trucker. So, I have a lot of medical equipment I need to buy, a lot of medications and health foods and things that I need to buy in order to be functional while homeless. I got to recreate a healthy home, but in a tiny little truck, right? I got to live in a truck for my family. I'm not allowed to pursue my career. I've been studying IT and cybersecurity every chance I get for 20 fucking years, more than 20 years. I've been studying computer science, IT, cybersecurity. Those are my passions. But every time I went to community college, the food ran out, or the internet's getting turned off, or, some crazy situation with my living situation, or the car breaks down, or just something crazy in my life happens and I got to drop out and, rethink my whole life plan. And it's because these fucking savages are trying to spend as little as possible on their obligations from the earliest, as far back as I can remember, as little as possible. Like, kids should, I really think if there weren't child labor laws, I would have been forced to do some kind of labor, paid employment as a 6-year-old. That's the kind of people that come from. They just don't give a shit. It's not like they have money problems. They both had, normal careers, so, and, they live on a golf course, so they can clearly afford to, solve a $10,000 emergency or something, they just choose not to. But let's see here, because I need it. See, if I didn't need shit from the help from these people, they would probably provide, but because I need it, it's about power and control. It's so mental illness. So gotta work myself up into I'm starving. I haven't eaten in 2 days, and other than a Subway sandwich, I haven't eaten anything. They keep me broke and destitute. They've been doing this for me. I'm almost 40. I just can't believe I haven't been allowed to go to college and start my career yet. My career is IT and cybersecurity. I told them that repeatedly. I've been trying to hammer that into their minds for 20 years. Yeah, I'll do the trucking for you, but I do have to get to college eventually. I dropped out of college 4 times for them. They didn't want me to go to college after I burned my life down and moved to Sacramento. So then I came up with this plan to go to China for them to get the cost down, so I can just go to school online. So that, IT education, you can do it online. But then they didn't want to support me after I showed up in China. We never even talked about how they were going to send money between. They just like to use PayPal for some reason, which is really weird. So I'm just done. I can't be dependent on these people. So I've been telling them what it would look like for me to be independent from them. And I didn't see how to do that not working in my field after college. But I mean, because otherwise it's just precarious. Like, being homeless in a truck is really precarious. Because if something happens, there's a million ways you could lose your license and stuff, and then you're just in a parking lot somewhere. I mean, I haven't owned a car in 10 years. This is just crazy. But I see a way. It's just very risky. It's not what I would choose for myself, but I'm not in control of my life. But the cheapest way at this point, would just be to let me go back trucking. But I've been trying to survive here on $200 a week. I don't see how to survive like that. I mean, I sure wish I could brush. I still have teeth. I need to start brushing my teeth. Haven't had a toothbrush yet the whole time I've been here. It's in my Amazon cart. I don't see how to clear that cart out. It's $2,000 to clear out my Amazon cart. No, it's $2,000 to clear out the 50 items in my cart. But then the save for later, there's another 200 items at least. So, I mean, when can I start ordering that? I got to get moved into the hotel, get functional as a hotel dweller who's health conscious and treating a bunch of medical conditions. And then I got to get, the equipment I need to go back to living on a truck. It's just a lot of stuff. Medical appointments and stuff. I could have been getting food stamps this whole time, but I don't have an office to do that, to research that. I don't even have a phone number. I can't even make phone calls. So so here's the problem. I do have a VoIP number, but I can't be using that for government stuff or employment stuff. That's a separate thing for separate things. Yeah, and I can't like it's just this is just crazy. I'm like a trapped rodent here. That's not what I chose. I didn't choose to be backed into a corner like this. I chose to, go have a successful, lucrative career in technology, and they've been sabotaging me every step of the way. Death by a thousand cuts. I mean, that was crazy when they wouldn't let me change trucks. Like I told my mother, at my last job, it wasn't working out, and I just needed some reassurance that, if I confronted my manager about this and gave him an ultimatum, that's typically how you get your way. In blue collar work, you have to use power and ultimatums. They don't care about. I saw this firsthand at Prime. You have to threaten to quit in order to get your manager to give you what you want. So they don't want you to quit, but they don't take you seriously unless you do threats like this. So if I threaten to quit, you can't just threaten to quit and then not quit if they call your bluff, So that was the game at the last company. I just needed to have some reassurance that if I threatened to quit and they didn't have a truck for me, then I could quit. And I just did the best choice. So that's the thing with these narcissists, is they always force you into losing scenarios where you're faced with two options, and each one is equally horrible, and there's no good option. And that's how trucking is too, just as a profession. Stupid occupation to get involved in. But if you're made homeless by your family for wanting to just work with computers instead of trucks, I'm not a truck guy. I don't give a fuck about trucks. Although the J200 platform for the Lexus is a good survival off-road vehicle. But so let's go over this narcissist letter here. That's just crazy. When can I go to college? I'm almost 40. Yeah, my work is IT, but I don't go to college poor. They always want me to be a poor student, live poorly while trying to perform academically, and that never worked for me. I remember sitting in class, sitting in community college and looking around, and everybody was well-dressed and well-prepared to be there. And I remember going out to the parking lot, looking at the cars in the parking lot, and you see like BMW, Mercedes, Audi, Lexus, etc. And then I had this like $500 piece of shit, and I just remember feeling humiliated and like, wow, I'm out of place. I don't belong here. Turns out I did belong there. Just people I come from were brutal savages, redneck savages who wanted to give their kids nothing. But yeah, my kids would never know what that's like. That's totally crazy. So I realized I don't belong here until I can fix my money problems, and then I'll start college again from a place of strength. Because I didn't go to high school, so I still have to learn how to be a student and stuff. But I'm a kind of guy. I plan. I encounter problems from a position of strength, not a position of weakness. And my family always wanted me to, face the world from a position of weakness and live precariously. And I realized there's some it's really crazy. I've got cling to this job or I'm going to be homeless. That's not how I approach jobs and employment. I approach employment based on, does this fit my career goals? Does working for this company fit my career goals? Is this company beneficial to me working here? Instead of like, oh my God, please give me a job or I'm going to die, So they always wanted me to be desperate. And they made me desperate. I'm 40. I still have less than nothing to my name, have accumulated nothing over my life, just a bunch of debts and a bunch of health problems, trying all these odd jobs out while disabled, just limping around. When can I see a doctor? Oh, can I see a doctor, please, this year? No, not this year? Okay, when can I go to college? Next year? Next year's not allowed either? Okay, just gets more and more insane. So, goddamn these fucking people. Just the part of being a parent is you put your kids through college, you make sure they're healthy, you ask them if you can provide anything for them. But I mean, that's crazy. I could get the free government medical care, but they don't want me to have internet, so I can't do that. This video is being uploaded over hotel Wi-Fi. It takes an hour to upload to the internet, and I can't use my phone during that time, so it's crazy. But Wi-Fi doesn't work on the laptop here. So let's go over this abusive letter. You'll need to be packed up. Now I can't pack up I don't have the equipment to pack up my stuff here yet. I can't change hotel rooms. We never ordered that luggage. I mean, that's the only luggage that works for me. It's very specific why I picked that up. I even made a video about that piece of luggage to educate you. They want to be deeply involved in every decision, every penny. That's just crazy, man. IT workers like me, we make $400,000 a year. We don't need to worry about how much a piece of a backpack costs. That's just not something we think about. We make $400,000 a year doing IT work. So that's just who I am culturally. I never planned on being poor. I don't need to learn how to, use trash bags as luggage and stuff. That's just not. So August 13th, Yeah, I can't even read this. I look at this. I can't even, maybe you can pause it and read it. I can't even read it. I mean, it's just abuse. It's totally full of lies and nonsense. Yeah. When can I go to college, Daddy? Never. Hey, Mommy, when can I have a medical doctor? Like, that's just crazy. Like, I've been trying to get a doctor for 10 years. I had a doctor I was starting to figure out my health in California. And then I had to move to China to get food. And it just went, I guess I didn't clarify with them before I moved to China. I was like, hey, you're going to pay for me to get a doctor in China, right? A Western doctor in China. And I guess we never had that conversation. I just assumed that's what they were doing. They wanted me to go to China. I stopped trying to make sense of why they didn't want me to go to college in Sacramento. Like, I stopped trying to make sense of it at that point. It was just like, this is something weird. Some sort of dark forces are in control here. But I depend on these people. They want me to go to China instead of going to college in Sacramento. Obviously, it's cheaper to live in China than it is to live in Sacramento. So that was my decision there. And also, I thought I could work in China. Turns out they didn't want me to do that. Yeah, you don't work a job when you're homeless and have all these medical conditions. So I guess they don't understand. My life needs to be easy. Everything in my life needs to be easy. Food, sleep, hygiene, clothing, travel. Everything just needs to be effortless and simple and easy in order to handle it, because I'm medically very sick. So like getting all the equipment to live in a hotel, it's just to make living in a hotel easy and effortless, So not letting me have a bag so I can pack my things up. I mean, that's just one thing. There's like 100 items I need to live in a hotel properly we never ordered. So it's just like, damn, I'm losing my fucking mind with these monsters. So I want nothing more than to have nothing to do with them. I just want to be homeless in a truck. Please just let me be homeless in a truck. Because, they made me homeless 10 years ago. I never see how to furnish a home. It costs $40,000, $50,000 to furnish a home for me. And then, I would still need to do over-the-road trucking anyway. Why would I maintain a home and pay rent when I can't live there? Because there's no paid employment I can do in the local economy that allows me to save money, that pays enough to allow me to save money. So I have to do over-the-road trucking, and there's nothing else for me until I have a furnished home, no money problems and no medical problems and no financial problems, and that's hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point. They've backed me into this corner, closing the walls in around me over the years, and they put me into the situation where I'm going 6 days a week without food and stuff, and drinking bathtub water. I'm drinking fucking water from the faucet, from the bathtub. So that's crazy. That's abuse. And they're still not taking responsibility because they're psychopaths. And they can't take responsibility for what they've done. I gave them warnings and clear and concise communication every step of the way that led me here. When I got poisoned in Colombia, I told them, hey, this is going to be a big problem. Let's figure this out. And instead, they cut my funding and forced me to starve, trapped in an Airbnb for 6 months and overstayed my visa. So they love using money to trap me different places around the world. Trap me here, trap me in a truck, trap me here, just trapped with nowhere to go. So this is just dark and demonic. It's so demonic. So yeah, I might not survive this. I'm just recording here what happened. It's just one thing after another. I worked so many fucking jobs with these people. Like, they told me I needed to work at the TSA in Orange County. So I moved to Orange County and lived with an illegal migrant to take a part-time job just to get away from these people. That's how desperate I was to get away from them. But obviously that didn't work. And then I moved into with my abusive sadist brother, and he forced me to call the police on him and have him removed. He was preventing me from getting to my fucking kitchen, wanted to pick a fight with me in my own home. Things have just been escalating, domestic abuse. And I just got punched in the face yesterday, and I'm totally dependent on these monsters. I just want nothing more than to go back homeless in a truck and just say, fuck them, I don't have a family, that's crazy. Change my name, never contact them ever again. Hopefully I don't ever need anything from them ever again. But I mean, they've really set me up to fail. And they've done it repeatedly my entire life. Set up to fail. Set up to fail in a truck, set up to fail in 7th grade, set up to fail in high school, set up to fail in community college, set up to fail in this job, set up to fail in that job. And it's just like, dude, I'm getting old. I can't be doing this. I mean, I gotta start succeeding at things, take things seriously. So they're arguing with me about, whether or not I can get a backpack off Amazon so I can, I'm living nomadically, should probably just have luggage that works for me. $50 is not an expensive backpack. I mean, that's really cheap. I mean, if they're having money problems, I don't want their money. They don't. I just want to have access to the financing. I'm totally willing to borrow whatever it costs because I can pay back debts when I'm living homeless in a truck and I'm productive in a truck. They're trying to get me to go back in the truck, disabled, bedridden, but in a truck again. I already tried that. My manager was trying to find a way to fire me. Wasn't driving the truck enough because I'm too sick. So I just got to get medical care first. So there's an order of operations. You get healthy first, and then you go to college. You get financially stable first, and then you go to high school or take a job. You know, you don't. So they're always trying to do things out of order. You try to like get to the end before it's like it causes mental illness. I'm just trying to like wrap my mind around it, like going to college naked and then telling me like once I'm established in my career and financially stable, then I can buy clothing. That doesn't make any sense. You have to have clothing to go to college. So it's just like backwards. So yeah, like I just, they're wasting my life. So I just want nothing to do with them. It's like 10 grand to get me back in a truck properly, maybe 15 grand, but probably 10 grand. And with, 95% chance of not needing anything else from ever again. And I think that's really the right way to do. But I mean, that therefore it won't be allowed. So it's always like they give me 10 grand to be homeless in Colombia. Imagine showing up at your family house sick, needing medical care while homeless, and they give you 10 grand to get lost, and then they tell you you got to go to Colombia with this money. I'm like, okay, that seems, I don't speak Spanish, but okay, I'll do that for you. And then once you get there, they sever communication and you get disabled and you're just like reaching out for help and they're just like, fuck you. That's crazy. I could have gone to jail in Colombia. I'm lucky I didn't, because I overstayed my visa, which is a crime. So they're just creating more and more problems for me as the years go by, and I just want nothing to do with these people. I just want to get the fuck away from them. I just want nothing to do with my abusive, hateful family. So, yeah, that's just crazy that I'm dependent on them totally. I don't have any friends that could help me. They don't let me make friends. Every time I make friends, then I got to move to the other side of the country or another state. Every time I get settled somewhere, like in Sacramento, I made some friends there, and then I have to go to China. And then I go to China, I make a few friends there, and then I got to go to somewhere else, and I got to go somewhere else, and I got to go somewhere else. And it's just like, this is just crazy. It's not what I chose for myself. So I just chose to go to do well in high school, go to college, and work in IT in like Los Angeles. Probably is what I probably would have wanted to do eventually, but that was 20 years ago, so it wasn't allowed. But this is just getting old. I'm almost 40. I can't be debating with people over what kind of shoes work for my feet. Like I'm debating with my family right now over whether or not I'm allowed to wear shoes and stuff. It's just, these are just problems that someone like me doesn't think about. Someone like me who works in IT for 20 years and has a family and stuff, I don't think about I don't put any effort into debating over a $40 pair of shoes from Amazon. That's just not something I think about, So it's mind warping. It really is driving me mentally ill, like off the wall, crazy. So I just need to get away from these monsters before it's too late. Somebody's going to get hurt. Like when I got punched yesterday, I really wanted to defend myself, but I knew if I struck him back while he's driving, he'd wreck the car and kill us both. Or he'd probably these kind of monsters, they'll call up the police and make some fake story and I get hauled off to a dungeon again. I wonder if I should press charges against my Nazi father. I mean, maybe if I call the police right now, I really don't want to call the police on people, but would that help my situation at all? Because I'm in a survival situation. If I press charges against him for punching me yesterday, there's no bruise or anything. It was just a sucker punch to the jawbone. He likes to hit right here and disconnect the jaw because I have a jaw injury now from him. He's used me as a punching bag my whole life. So, but I mean, this is just my life's at risk, and this is just crazy. I just want to go back homeless in a truck. I'm not asking for them to let me go to college or anything like that, or see a doctor. Well, I do have to see a doctor before I can go back in a truck, but I'm not asking them for to support me to go through college or anything like that. That's not allowed. Fine. I mean, that's really sad. That's crazy. In my mind, that seems insane, but I'm just asking them to let me go back homeless in a truck and do it a way that works for me instead of home disabled in a truck. Because being disabled in a truck is really just a bad situation. I already tried that. I tried that at Prime. I tried that at Martin, and I tried that. It didn't work for me. So I got to get healthy enough in a hotel room, and then go back trucking in a healthy way, so I can be productive. Because hope all that makes sense. And yeah, I'm just my blood's boiling. I just can't believe I'm almost 40. I have to explain myself to anybody, especially in public like this. But I didn't choose anything about my situation. I chose to be healthy and go to college and be an athlete. That's what I chose. And I was born here. I was born in the United States. I'm not a migrant or something. I don't need to be a second class citizen or a third class citizen. This is not what I chose to be hyper productive and invest and do entrepreneurial things. That's the decision I made. That's the framework that I used to plan my life. I just never planned on my family not being available in times of crisis. And then they keep creating new crises and contributing to more crises in my life as time passes, which is more insane. And it's because they're mentally ill. They have narcissistic personality disorder, and they can't stand the thought of me having a future. I need to be dependent on them. And they're threatening lawfare again. They're threatening to try to have me figure out how to criminalize me somehow and have me sent to a dungeon again to be tortured and beat up. So I don't know if this can end well for me. I don't see how it will unless there's like a miracle. But I'm just trying to get healthy and go to college. And if I have to go drive a truck in order to do that, then I need to be successful at trucking instead of survival disabled in a truck. I've told them in precise detail exactly what is needed step by step. And it doesn't have to cost them anything. I'm not asking them for money. I'm not trying to take anything from anybody. It's just like they cause me to ruin my access to my finances and my access to credit. So that makes me dependent on them until, I didn't choose this. I gave up my last asset was my car. I gave that up like 10 years ago for them to get the cost down and to cover my cost of moving to China. They needed me to move to China, which in retrospect, that's just so crazy. Who moves to China? So that was a game, and I went along with it like a sheep to the slaughterhouse. I thought they were supporting me to build a future in China, build a life there, and then it turned out I was homeless once I got there. They didn't want to support me to get an apartment in China, or I'm not even talking about furnishing a home, just renting a home. They never even let me rent a home in China. So and my brother was involved with all this too, my sadist brother, because he's trying to freeload off these people. He hasn't had a job in 20 years. My brother hasn't worked a paid job in 20 years. I don't know I think he's just been living off my family for 20 years. And he comes up with all these like scams and stuff, like tea business and all this nonsense, just to like keep taking money from these people. So they've given all their money to my little brother, who it's just even more crazy. Meanwhile, I'm out there breaking my back to drive a truck for these people, trying to survive homeless in a truck. It's just so crazy. I want nothing more than to just be free from these monsters. Get these people out of my life, please. I'm begging you.